we've got music going. We're gonna start at 1 o'clock. So if you're here checking me out, this is my, it's good that you can't see my face. This is like my opener screen. It's supposed to be in the background, but I'm just getting a few last settings ready for our 1 o'clock kickoff. Get music. All right, I think that's our sound. So if you missed everything I just said, it is supposed to look like this right now. This is our countdown screen. Work in progress, just like everything we're doing this week. Got some music going. We'll turn the music down after we get started, don't worry. Frickin' spam calls, man. Whew. All right, good morning, everybody. Good, I did this again. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, and by everybody, I think I've got 2 viewers with me right now. Hey guys, how's it going? Happy hump day. It's Wednesday. So today is going to be, if you've watched the last two live streams, so today's my third ever live stream, and this week is really just a practice week, right? So if you're watching, you're seeing it very raw. Yay! My parents, I love it. They've watched every single one of my episodes so far in real time. Hi guys, I love you. Mom, I almost called you today just because you know how I just call you sometimes, but I'm like, you know what? She's gonna watch the live stream and hear it all again. So this is gonna be a little bit of how sometimes when I need a little extra support, I call Mom. You'll kind of hear those kinds of things I talk about today. Putting it out there, guys. Today's probably gonna be a shorter show than usual. I'm not feeling like as positive today about, I guess just everything. And, feeling a little emotional. I don't know. Might get some waterworks going, but don't worry about it. That's part of sharing my story and what makes this, super real and, you know, personable. You know, you wouldn't really, be here if it was boring. Got to keep it interesting. And the waterworks are genuine. They are not here to keep it interesting. Okay, why am I feeling like this today? You know, it's a little bit of a deep dive. We'll get into that in a moment. So just want to remind you guys, the purpose of these shows this week is really practice. This is trying to figure out my setup, getting used to my programs, getting my settings right. You know, today you saw that I added the countdown timer and like some color to my overlay and everything. I added some music that's probably still going on in the background. Actually take that down. I'm gonna take that off actually for now, just in case, because I don't know if that's gonna really match the mood for today's show. And I love you too, Mom. Thanks for saying that. And I know Dad's watching too. It says Denise Clementi here, so I love you both. But it does feel like Mom's here with me right now, which is wonderful. So let's with that reminder, this is a practice week, and I did get some really, really helpful feedback yesterday, after my show, which I do appreciate that, guys. You have no idea. It not only lets me know you're watching, but also is helping me, grow. I have a huge laundry list of all the things I know I need to do and improve on and everything, but the feedback you're giving me is in addition to that, and it does help. With some of that feedback in mind, I'm going to keep today's show a little bit shorter, just to kind of plow through these updates quicker and maybe not ramble quite as much. So, big update. As you know, I'm going through IUI. Started that this cycle. I'm on day 13 today. And had another appointment, so I went in for my blood draw this morning at 8:15. Blood draw and then the ultrasound. So the ultrasound, first thing they measure is the uterus lining, which today was at 7, and they were like 7 is the best number to have for uterus lining. So yay, high score there. And then they measured the follicles again, and they weren't quite at the numbers that they were looking for. Very similar to yesterday's numbers. They didn't get smaller, but didn't get noticeably bigger either. So they said, one more time, gotta go back. I already got the call today, so back tomorrow morning at 7:30. Gotta keep these appointments all right. I'm saying this out loud because I forgot to write it down. And that call was right before I went live today. So 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, and they do think it'll probably be the last measurement that I'll need before we do the trigger. And depending on what time they want me to do the trigger, it's either going to be early tomorrow, which means then we'll do transfer day on Friday, or it's going to be later in the day tomorrow, which means we'll do transfer on Saturday. Transfer means Bert comes along, does his parts, and then they wash the sperm and put them inside me. If we go on Saturday, they don't do the sperm washing at the Chicago location on the weekends, so we actually have to drive up to Gurnee. So a little bit of a road trip, but that's part of the clinic that I'm going to right now, which is totally fine. I've actually been to the Gurnee location. I really like it a lot. So lots of appointments to the doctor. So today was blood draw number 4. I just want to shout out a personal way to go, Lynn, because I've gotten really good, guys, at doing blood work. I used to pass out a lot with this. I actually looked at the needle today while it was in my arm and watched the blood. I am like, who knows, next I might like butterflies. Who knows? And if you don't know that about me, I am afraid of butterflies in real life. I love butterflies like on paper or behind glass or outside or whatever. I do not like being around butterflies, but hey, you know what? If I can get over my blood fear, maybe I can get over my butterfly fear. Not a high priority right now, though. Okay, so that's my IUI update. We could be, things are going to move quick in the next 2 days. So, I woke up today kind of, well, excited because I was coaching this morning. I started off very excited because now that I have my setup in this room, which is what used to be called the craft room, it's now the studio. The setup here has become kind of permanent, and I took the monitors from the living room that we were using for the workouts and for bingo, and I had been moving everything back and forth. Now it's set up here permanently, so I have a little bit of a predicament. I only have one camera now that's permanently attached to my desk. I have to figure out something else for my workouts that I coach on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and every other Saturday. I was up yesterday making sure that I got that done before I went to bed because I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep if that was something I had to try and figure out in the morning. I coach at 7 a.m., so I get up at 6 a.m. Well, the alarm goes off at 6 a.m. Bert will tell you that I don't actually get up at 6 a.m. I have a wake-up process, guys. It's fine. But anyway, we talk through it. I have to, lower my alarm a little bit so we can sleep the extra half hour. It's okay. Love you, Bert. Enough of that rambling, right? Back on track here. So the excitement came because last night I made sure that I was ready to go this morning. I set up something really cool in my workout where the timing all auto advanced. So normally I have to go and click on something to go, okay, next part of the workout, we do the warm up and then we go to the workout and then I have to start a timer after I explain it. But guys, I built it all in advance this time. So man, it was awesome. I was excited and it worked. It all worked. The only thing is I've maybe set a precedent of this is going to be a little bit more labor intensive than my old setup, but I think I can make it into a process so it's actually good. So I got a good night's sleep knowing that my morning routine would be good. So that went well. That was a positive. But after my workout and I, hustled over to my appointment, which was at 8:15 this morning, I just was not feeling really good about everything, and this is different than yesterday. If you were watching yesterday, I was extremely hopeful and feeling really good about that hopefulness, and today I don't know what it is. It's like a fear of a lot of things. I'm going to introduce a new thing that's going on right now, and it's not related to fertility, but the reason it's related could be the stress level. I mentioned also this week that, stress is kind of like a normal state of being for me. But we found out, okay, so we're going to be doing a home project that's quite expensive, and we found out some additional information that wasn't told to us before, which is two things: that we need to pay a little bit extra for the utilities, which is not a little bit, it's actually a lot of it. And then we also found out that we asked how much we need to bring to the closing, and that's also a lot of bit more than we were expecting to. So we have a little bit of a financial stress just that we found out in the past day or so. We're dealing with it. We'll be fine. It's just, how money things can be stressful. So that was weighing on me a little bit, which then kind of definitely relates to what I'm doing here. And I mentioned this yesterday is, how am I going to sustain this hobby of mine, which is what it is right now, a hobby. But there's opportunity in doing affiliate links in my videos and possibly other things that I'm doing as I'm building this brand, this community. And I am hopeful about those affiliate links. I looked into it, and it's actually something very easy to do. But that got me down a rabbit hole, like, is that what I really want to do already? I'm thinking about selling out and, just being here for the purpose of, I don't know, selling other brands and products and stuff. But that's how this is. That's kind of what live streaming and having a YouTube channel is. That's how you make it a business. That's how you make it profitable. Which I think that the story and the character and this everything here is enough to actually be a brand and do that. So I'm just facing that, like thinking it all through, because man, there's so much in my head and prioritizing it, and then Now, like the reality of like, well, the money and organizing it and actually executing it, that's all everything else that adds into the stress. So yeah, it was, I asked Bert, and I had a little conversation this morning about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I can sustain this. I love the freedom of what I'm doing right now, and that I get to create this content, because I think I've always been a kind of a content creator, a creative person. And I've also, I think more than anything, been a community organizer. I love organizing groups of people. I have for as long as I can remember. I've often just been nominated to be the leader of groups because, I don't know, somehow that's the natural thing that works for me. And being a natural leader is kind of silly, because you're not just automatically a leader. It's definitely something that comes with practice. And I know I'm rambling again. I hear my dad's voice in my head right now, even though it was via text that he gave me some feedback yesterday. I still hear his voice like with that feedback. It's fun. So I'm hearing it right now, I know. But I think it's only you guys watching right now, but Kelly watched after it happened yesterday and then gave me some additional feedback, which I appreciated as well. So the feedback was great, and in the moment I was appreciative. I might have been like, yes, these are things, I'm glad that you brought it to my attention, and I don't know if I was defensive. I might have been like, oh yeah, I know it's rambling. I know that it's this and that. I don't know. And it sat with me, and I'm like, I have to be okay with the criticism, and I have to be okay when people start to become even more, critical of what I'm saying, and am I strong enough for that? And whenever I start to question whether or not I'm strong enough for something, I've got this really evil little voice in my head that it's really hard to ignore. And he's saying, nah, you're not good enough. And that's the hard part. And I don't know where that comes from. And I think it happens a lot for a lot of people. I don't think I'm alone in this. But I'm really lucky because I have Bert. And he's the one that says, yeah, you're freaking strong. You got this. And you're amazing. And he brings me back up. And what I would do to just get rid of that voice in my head that, tells me, that tells me I'm not good enough, to just get rid of that voice, and I would do anything. But we all have that voice, and it's just sometimes louder than other voices, right? Thanks for the hugs, Christy. I see those, and I appreciate it. But, right. But the greatest people, and even just everyday people, they have that voice, and we power through, right? We still show up, and we fake it till we make it. And that's exactly how, the strong survive and prevail. And that's where it's at, right? It's keep moving forward. And then if you do fail, that doesn't mean you failed at life. Failure is a huge step in success. You have to fail to succeed too. And every step of failure is what you make of it, and it should be learning, right? So I'm learning. I'm doing a lot of learning this week, and it maybe too much, and maybe that's why the voice in my head is so loud right now. But I said, you know what? I said to myself, maybe I don't go live today. Maybe I think everyone will just understand if it, maybe I bit off more than I can chew. And then the other side, there's a lot of voices in my head. All right, let's not make jokes about this, but today there's a lot of voices in my head. And the other voice said, Lynn, you go live today and you tell people how you are feeling, because this is real and this is part of the frickin' journey. So that's why I'm here and I'm showing up. And this is probably the stuff I would have called my mom about this morning and said, Mom, this is how I'm feeling. And she would have been like, oh, honey. And she would have comforted me. And she goes, she's always so understanding and she's so good at listening. And I always feel better after calling Mom. So I did it today. I saved it for you guys, gave you guys the waterworks. And those are the feelings. And that's enough on that. But I'm here. Today's topic, Wednesdays are supposed to be around pregnancy, and I wanted to touch on this today. You know, feel free, I know, so if Christy and Mom are watching, and even Dad, if you can think back on your own pregnancies. The topic I want to cover today is the fears that come along with pregnancy. And now, I'm not pregnant yet, but I have in my head acquired quite a laundry list of the things that I am scared of. My nose is running. Hold on just a moment. Did you like that? I used my mute button. Wait, hopefully nothing else is picking me up. I think that was muted. Okay. Oh, wait. I actually have... Okay, I wonder if that was an issue. Hope my sound was good, guys. How's my sound been so far? Did I just fix something there that might have been weird? Hopefully I didn't. Let me know. Christy is agreeing that my mom's pretty great. Thanks. Yes, she is. She is so great. So is my dad, though. I am very lucky. I have wonderfully supportive parents, and I have put them through quite a lot in my 30s. Oh, it didn't mute. Yeah, I think that my camera picked that up. But I have put my parents through quite a bit in 37 years, and very thankful that they are as supportive as they are of me now. And in you know, all that time. Okay, so my pregnancy fears, guys. Being someone that works out, and I work out for the connection, the health that not just my heard me blow my nose perfectly great. So the connection between mind and body is important. I work out because I know that it releases it. There's adrenaline, and that it releases some good stuff so that your brain functions better during the day. That's a big part of it for me. And then also just having, you know, physical health, because I like playing sports. And I want to preserve my physical health, you know, so that I'm going to be an older mom, you know, having kids, you know, when I'm, you know, the first kid, hopefully when I'm 38. You know I'm older, and I want to make sure that I'm still able to kick it with my kid, you know, as they grow up. But the fear that I have with pregnancy is losing that fitness and that shape. And I am kind of making it a goal to make sure I do my research and make sure, you know, what's good, what are things to avoid as pregnant. I already know a lot about like the abdominal tearing that could happen. But I think that there's a lot more to it than that. I've seen a lot of topics talking about, you know, strength training and cardio training and everything like that. But I'm going to do the research and make this a topic. But it is a big fear, is how my body will change. And I'm really worried about my boobs getting saggy, if we're being honest here. I kind of like my boobs, and I mean, they're not huge or anything, but I do like them. And I don't really want them to change, and I know that that's part of it. And I'm going to have to embrace that. And change in itself is just scary, right? But we've also all gotten used to that from 2020. So I feel like I'm a little bit better equipped to deal with the change. Other fears about pregnancy. The actual giving birth, I'm very nervous about, because I've heard so many different stories of how it goes for people. And I'm scared of how I'm going to be in the moment. Like I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to perform, though. I know that's not an option. Like it's going to happen. And as we get closer to it, I hope that those fears go away, and I hope to hear more people's birth stories, so that I don't know. I just feel like I love hearing people's birth stories. Hearing how long it took, you know, what they had to do and everything. It's fascinating to me. And what other things, Christy or Mom or anyone else that's listening, what other fears did you have during pregnancy, or things that you think I should be aware of? And don't try to like scare me, but what are some things you remember being scared about when you were pregnant? Did you worry about whether or not you'd be a good parent or dad? You know, if you're out there too, was that something that kept you up at night, or were you just pretty sure, yeah, we're going to be great parents? I don't know. Bert and I have that conversation, and I think we're going to be good parents. I think I'm going to bring a mindfulness to parenting that I think will be special. But I have a really hard time with the cats when they're doing something bad and disciplining them. So I don't know. I think that that's gonna be, that's something I'm scared of. But that's being a fear of like, that's the postpartum fear. Chris, you were scared of birth too. Yeah, you don't really have a choice. I know I have big decisions to make. I'm scared of making decisions. I'm scared if we get pregnant with a boy and having to make big decisions like whether to circumcise or not. And I know that's weird and might seem like an obvious choice for some people, but I know that that's a big decision these days that is being more, considered more by women. Vaccinations are really scary right now because I know that uh, that I that there are anti-vaxxers right now, and like it's like a movement, and I that the anti-vaxxers I don't think are a bad thing. I think that there's it's a term right now that's kind of seen as like, oh, all these people that believe in conspiracy theories and they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking about. But I actually do monitor groups, some conversations around this, and I don't think that it's all or nothing. It's not black and white. There are definitely concerns to have around vaccination and just being better educated about it and being part of the decision making, and then talking to the healthcare providers about that plan. So I'm very scared about vaccinations and making the correct choices there. Mom just okay, so a couple comments to respond to here. Mom was also scared about birth and parenting. Does it get easier after the first birth though, or is it still scary the second time? Like knowing what it was like, was it scarier the second time knowing what it was like the first time, or was it scarier the first time? And Christy commented, just don't take them sledding. Yes, 100%, Chrissy, you hit a very big fear that I have, which is damaging my child or killing it. I was very scared about this the other day. We went up to visit Christy and our nephews in Minnesota, and we went sledding. And Wyatt, who's the younger, wanted to go down with me, and we successfully did. And at the very end, he kind of leaned a little bit, and we like tilted a little bit, and it was okay the first time. The second time that we went down, he tilted more, and the sled just kind of went, he like fell out of the sled, and I kind of went, I shouldn't even be admitting this to everyone. Look, oh, you're all gonna think that I'm horrible with kids. I swear I'm not. I'm just gonna be really, really careful and put them all in bubble wrap the whole time. But he kind of tipped out of the sled, and the sled just went ever so slowly, kind of like over his arm. He was like face down, and I'm like, oh my god, I broke my nephew. I was so like, I was more scared than he was. He just got up. He's like, I'm fine. Let's go again. Like ran back up the hill. And I'm like, oh my god. In my head, because I've had shoulder problems, I'm like, oh my god, I just dislocated his shoulder. Oh my god, I just broke his elbow. So a real like fear, like heart pounding fear. And then we go back up, and then we go down again, and I'm like, okay, that was just my own fear. We're gonna be fine. We're just sledding. Like, how bad could it be? And then we go down, and of course we go down again, and we kind of like, we're going into like, it's a very tiny, like a twig sticking up out of the ground, and he gets scared, and so he leans big time, and we just start, like, we tumbled, like did a full tumble down the side of the hill. We weren't even at the bottom yet. Oh my god, and he immediately starts screaming, and I was just like, no, 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 and he's got these tiny little scratches on his face, and I'm like, oh my god, I am the worst. I'm the worst parent. No one should trust me with any children ever, and I shouldn't do this. It was a very, and I know that Christy could see this in me, and I was trying not to make a big deal out of it because I knew it was a very internal, mixture of emotions I was going through. And she's reassuring me now even that he is totally okay. I know that he's okay, but you know what I'm talking about. This feeling that you have as caring for a child, that they're your responsibility. And yeah, that is also feeding into this fear of, shoot, the kids like every tiny little thing, how scared am I going to be every day with every tiny little thing? Or am I just going to be like, no, scrapes on the face are fine and broken bones are part of the package, I know. Mom's commenting on this. It never gets easier. As your mom, your kids are always your kids, even when they're all grown up and successful. Yeah. I know. I would be, I can only imagine you later on, like watching. It's different things that you're worried about the kids, right? Like, you don't want to see them fall into hard times, and you don't want to see them go through a divorce or the hard stuff like that too. I mean, like I don't know what that's like to be as a parent. I didn't think about that really as I was going through it before, the hard times that I've gone through. What that does to the parent, is there a sense of failure, for the parents, like that they caused that or that they did something? I hope not, but knowing me, if I was the parent, I probably would be wondering those kinds of things. So those are questions, though, that luckily, and this is what I always say, everyone should have a therapist, because it's something you just have to work through those feelings and understand where they're coming from, and then how to flesh through them and deal with them, and hopefully not get hung up on them for too long. Oh, that was quite a tangent, huh? Huge fear about parenting and responsibility. Huge fear. Very big. I think we can end on that note practically. I do have one more topic to cover. And let's see here. So, and then going back to that question I asked about if the second pregnancy is tougher than the first. So Christy says, my second was easier only because my second birth was scheduled. And that was the same for Kelly too. And I've heard Kelly's birth story in detail. So I won't speak about it precisely, but I think, yeah, having it scheduled probably does make it a little bit easier. You can have a little bit more. I think that is the scary part. You don't know if you're going to be in labor, for a little bit or for a long time the first time around. You just don't really know. Some people do. I guess some people just schedule it right out of the gate for medical purposes and health purposes. We'll see when we get there. Yeah, any other pregnancy fears that pop into your head, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll definitely write them down and keep them in mind as we move along with the pregnancy journey. Okay, so the last thing I want to just let you guys know is what I'm actually working on with the live streams here, because I'm sure there will be some feedback after this one. Maybe not. But I would just want to get ahead of the game, so you guys know I have a very long list of all the things I want to add to my streams and all the things I have to do with the brand and stuff. But just so you know what my day looks like, I am working for Grab a Game in Chicago Sport and Social Club each day for a little bit, and I have to manage that in the morning. I coach Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I do that in the morning. Plus I have these doctor's appointments I'm going to. Plus I'm educating myself on the live stream. So I am constantly in training. I'm going through a 10-week course right now, and then next Monday I'm also doing a 12-week course for something else. So a lot of my day is actually spent learning, and then the afternoons are when I do a lot of my producing. So that's when I'm working on the content and structure and researching the stuff that I want to be talking about. And it's going to be a lot of this kind of like little bits at a time. I don't have a lot of time to prepare every day. But as long as I take little steps at a time, it'll get done. So very next specific steps, I am really trying to get ready to have guests on the show, because I think it'll be a lot more dynamic and interesting to have somebody else talking to with me and conversing with the audience as well. And in order to get there, what I need to do is make sure I can put up a split screen so that they're on one side and I'm on the other, and I'm going to have titles so that I can say who they are. I need to be able to have those different scenes set up. So getting those titles is a big priority. I've done them before, but it was like so long ago I have to go back and get it right. And then setting them up as like hotkeys so that it's not me fumbling around and trying to it's going to look like a very smooth thing, almost like there's someone else producing the thing, even though I'm just doing it off camera. So that is what I'm going to be working on today and tomorrow, getting that ready. And then I have to write up the instructions for how to bring my guests on, because if I'm looking this awesome and then they're just kind of like on their, cell phone, like, looking all weird and stuff like that, I have to send them some instructions for how to set themselves up for the best audio and visual to bring them on as a guest. And then the last thing I need to do is then have a practice run. And obviously have a small audience so we can do a practice run with somebody close to me and kind of just have fun and make it comfortable. And then as I get more comfortable with all this, guys, that's when I can actually start scheduling the real guests. And I've got them all lined up, but I don't want to bring them on till I'm ready. So that's where I'm at. I've got my priorities, I've got my steps, it's all organized. Trying to stay positive and motivated and just keep moving, even though I kind of just want to curl up and take a nap and not really do much of anything tonight or today, the rest of the afternoon. But I am going to push forward, and I'm going to feel good because I'm doing it. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you watching. And I, again, thank you for being so supportive. I'm going to keep saying that all week long because this is just a practice week, and you're still tuning in, and I appreciate it. So that's it for today. Nice and short and sweet. Thank you everybody for watching and for commenting. Glad Mom and Dad, you guys are interacting in the chat. Christy, thanks so much for joining in. It makes me feel really good. All right, bye guys.